Hey everyone, welcome back to Mr. Wonder How. In this tutorial, we're diving into AI behavior in Unity and learning how to calculate distance using vectors. This is essential for AI navigation, movement, and decision making in games. Let's get started. To begin, I have already set up a simple 2D scene in Unity, which contains a tank and a target base. Our goal is to calculate the distance between these two objects using 3 different methods. Now, let's create a C# script to handle our calculations. I'll go to the Unity project, right-click in the scripts folder, and create a new C# script named Tank Controller. Let's open it in Visual Studio Code and start coding. Write new function, name it calculate distance. Before writing code, let's understand the mathematical concept of distance. In mathematics, the distance between 2 points, x1, z1, and x2, z2, is given by the formula. Distance equals Sqrt, x2 x1, raised to the power of 2 plus, z2 z1, raised to the power of 2. This formula uses square root and power functions to calculate the Euclidean distance. Now, let's implement this formula in C# inside our tank controller script. This function takes 2 vector 3 positions, calculates the squared differences of x and y, then applies the square root function to get the final distance. Now, in the start function, we'll call this method and print the result in the console. Let's test it by pressing play in Unity. As you can observe in the debug log, the distance value is displayed. Next, let's add movement controls to the tank. I'll write code inside the update function so that pressing W moves the tank forward, and S moves it backward. To expedite the processing, I'm reusing the code within the character controller from the previous tutorial. Now, we can move our tank, but the distance is still calculated only at the start. Let's add another way to calculate the distance dynamically. Use space keyboard to trigger calculate distance function. As you can see, the result is exactly the same as before, but this method is more efficient and easier to use. The second way to calculate distance in Unity is by using the built-in function vector3distance. This method simplifies our work because it directly calculates the distance between 2 points. Let's now modify our script to calculate and print the distance when we press the space key. The distance to is using vector3 distance method. Cool, let's test. As you can see, the distance to have the same value with distance. But the code is much more simple than the first method. There's a third method using vector magnitude. Instead of manually using Sqrt, we can use Unity's built-in Dart magnitude function. Again, we'll modify the script to calculate distance 3, using above method. Now, all three methods print the same result, proving that they are functionally identical. So, let's quickly summarize what we've learned today. The mathematical formula is great for learning but is not the most optimized way. Vector3 distance is simple and recommended for Unity projects. Vector magnitude is the most efficient because it avoids extra calculations. For game development, I recommend using either vector3 distance or vector magnitude, as they are optimized for performance. That's it for today's tutorial. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more Unity AI tutorials. Also, check out my Patreon page for exclusive source code and behind the scenes content at patreon.com/wonderhow. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.